Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Walt here from Down the Block Sports, and today I want to talk about college football. A massive transferred to a 500 school. What I want to talk about is who that transfer is and how he'll help that university moving forward. Again, I'm Alec Walt. This is Down the Block Sports. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more of my exclusive content. Yes, Spencer Rattler, the Oklahoma transfer, the #1 quarterback from the 2019 class, has announced he's transferring from Oklahoma, and he's committed to the University of South Carolina. South Carolina right now, obviously not one of the elite programs in college football, but Spencer Rattler struggled last season at Oklahoma, got benched, and is now joining one of his former offensive coaches. Shane Beamer was a former assistant under Lincoln Riley. Riley transfers to USC. Beamer accepts the job at the other USC last season, and he convinced his star quarterback to transfer to South Carolina. Now, this is huge for South Carolina because when Shane Beamer got the job, everyone was excited over the fact that Beamer was a South Carolina guy. He was someone who used to work for the university when he was in recruiting. They were the best that program has looked in years. He leaves the program, obviously, for other reasons, struggled. He comes back and takes over a program that really needs a jolt of energy. Now, in his first season with the South Carolina Gamecocks, they finished 6-6, fourth in the SEC East, but quarterback was a revolving door. They played 3 guys this season: Luke Doty, Jason Brown, and Zeb Nolan. So when you looked at Beamer going into next season and beyond, 6-6 not going to get the job done for multiple years. He had to take those next steps forward. Obviously Beamer was given potential offers, potential interviews to be a coach for other teams. He committed to South Carolina, and he committed to making a massive move on the transfer market. Obviously, you look at Spencer Rattler, he's immediately the best quarterback for South Carolina. And I kind of joked about him potentially coming here. I didn't think he would go to South Carolina specifically. But I was like, come on, Shane Beamer, go get your guy. Go get your old quarterback you worked with at Oklahoma. And that's exactly what he did. Now, let's go over a little bit on who Spencer Rattler is and how he's going to help this Gamecocks team. Now, the South Carolina Gamecocks offense wasn't great last year. They have some solid running backs, but Beamer, obviously, his next step is to improve the skill around him. Now, he did add a tight end from Oklahoma as well on the transfer market. The main reason people know who Spencer Rattler is because his first year as a starting quarterback in 2020, he was one of the better quarterbacks in college football. That's why his name was being mentioned in the Heisman race to start this past season. But in 2020, he threw for over 3,000 passing yards, 28 TDs, 7 interceptions. Last year, he got benched, and he deserved to, throwing only 11 TDs and 5 interceptions in his time as the starting quarterback. Everyone looks back to that Texas game. Oklahoma came back and win. That's when Rattler was not the starting quarterback. Many debated who would be moving forward, and that did not include the Rattler, who transferred to South Carolina. Now, he does work with Shane Beamer. Here's where I want to talk about Rattler. He got benched in one of the most productive offenses in college football. Oklahoma, year after year after year, it seemed like whoever was in that position succeeded. Lincoln Riley is one of the best coaches in college football. The skill around Rattler has always been solid. And, you look at Oklahoma, it's been a QB factory. You look at the NFL right now, there's guys like Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts, who also was from Alabama. And it seemed like the role in that offense projected well for teams going to the next level. Now, when you look at Spencer Rattler, the 6'1", 200-pound starting QB did not look very good last year. He had the ability to throw the ball, but he threw the ball to simply too many players on the other team. Now, I don't really give him too much smack for transferring, obviously. He lost his starting job. They did lose the head coach for that team, and it makes a lot of sense. He went to a situation he's familiar with because he worked with Shane Beamer. Now, here's the difference between the Big 12 and the SEC. Obviously, when you go into the SEC, you're playing some of the best defenses in college football. You're playing some of the best teams overall in the country. It's going to be the SEC East. That means they have to play Georgia next year. Florida will be interesting to see how they are specifically next year because they lost Dan Mullen. Kentucky's obviously taken steps forward. We'll see how Tennessee looks. The SEC East is not a bad conference. The SEC in general is absolutely stacked. Now, obviously, there could things could change in regards to expansion of the SEC. We'll worry about that road when we get there. But Rattler struggled against teams that weren't as good defensively as he's going to see when he joins the SEC. So that's one thing he's going to need to work on is if he throws as many interceptions as he does, it's going to be a really tough time for him at South Carolina. Two, obviously the skill is going to be a lot worse at South Carolina than it was at Oklahoma. Shane Beamer needs to find a way to get other guys in this program to improve the offensive skill for Rattler to throw the football. But for University of South Carolina team that I was pretty low on after this year. I mean, they did get a bowl game, great. All they had to do was get 6 wins, but this was a team that needed a jolt of energy. Beamer was a guy who committed to South Carolina, rejected potential other coaching jobs after a struggling season, came to a program that was in shambles after Will Muschamp left the program. A team that needed to find the right QB, a team that needs to get things going in regards to implementing Beamer's system. Beamer, honestly, I mean, obviously there's better QBs than Spencer Rattler in college football, but this match is near perfect. Rattler played under Beamer. Beamer wants to implement part of the offense that hopefully he learned while he was coaching under Lincoln Riley. He gets Spencer Rattler, who's a no-name around sports. South Carolina is getting national immediate attention today. And for other transfers, other recruits, other high school players who see South Carolina landing players like Spencer Rattler, that is huge for this university. Because now skill players are going to want to play in this offense knowing Rattler's going to get them the football. That's going to have a ripple effect. Beamer could not have done a better job here in this window. So for Beamer, who committed to South Carolina, thank you. This university has needed this move for years. Now, we'll have to wait and see what the rest of the roster looks like going into next year as I do more evaluations throughout the offseason. But that jolt of energy is here in South Carolina. The interest is there. And it should be interesting to see what happens with Spencer Rattler as he joins the South Carolina Gamecocks. What do you think of Spencer Rattler joining USC? Do you think he picked the right school? What do you think of this for the university in general? Feel free to comment that below. Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more of my exclusive content. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and we will see you very soon.